Premier League is, of course, back again this weekend, and it was a tough week for fantasy football last weekend. Some very strange things going on. We have our supposed experts from Football Fancast back on the live green sofa, so let's get Jack and James out. Come on, guys, come on. Good to see you again, mate. Yeah, good, mate. Good to see you again. How are you doing, all right? Good. What happened to you last week, then? You weren't with us.
I know. It was just quite a good excuse to get out of an evening with James, really.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
It was man flu, I think it was.
Man flu.
Yeah.
Man flu. Yeah, you were a bit under the weather, weren't you?
I was. Still watched.
Still watched, like a real trooper.
Still tweeted and
picked the bones out of his tips, which was quite easy last week.
It was
lesson about that.
Yeah, well, you say less about that the better. But let's get right on with it. We have a video of last week's predictions. So let's have a watch. Right.
I mean, Fonte's not a bad section anyway. I got Burnley at home this weekend. Only owned by 4.1% of people, so it's a good differential. Breaks my heart to say it, but if there's a striker you're getting in your team this week, then it's definitely you've got to be considering Benteke. I mean, if you're looking for if you've gone top heavy in your strikers and you're a cheap midfielder, but it's going to create points, then Puncheon's probably your guy. Hopefully not this weekend, though.
Yeah, hopefully not for your boys. You're enjoying that, aren't you?
That's gold. See what happens when I leave him for 1 week.
You go away for 1 week. So let's go through your selections. Font, first of all, Font. So actually, to be fair, you would have definitely gone along with that one on the night.
Great game.
Well, I only put Fonte in because he was at home, and I thought I'd better make him feel happy.
Yeah, he's ill.
At home with man flu. I thought I'll keep Jack happy.
And their penalty wasn't a penalty, so I know that they should have had one in the first half, but would have been a clean sheet otherwise.
Yeah,
a proper referee.
Yeah. The one we've got to talk about though, and do you know, do you remember I said to you, I'm putting Benteke in, you sold me, and then I had a bit of a heavy Friday night, and I completely forgot, and I woke up.
You had a result.
Yeah, exactly. It was
I ended up putting him in myself.
Did you put him in?
So I was kind of best of both worlds, really.
Yeah.
Being a West Ham fan, but
yeah, I guess it's and Jason Puncheon as well, who didn't do anything, frankly. But but I mean, to be fair, we had a bit of fun with that when we were talking about it earlier. But it's fantasy football at the end of the day. All you can do is make an educated guess at these things. And to be fair, your reasoning was spot on. And I wouldn't get rid of Benteke because, I mean, that was a rare occurrence. You don't often see.
It was quite funny though, wasn't it?
It was funny, especially as I knew exactly that he'd specifically said. In fact, Gianluca, who was in your place, tweeted me during the game going, "Great week to get Benteke, great week to get Benteke in."
Yeah.
But this week we're gonna nail it.
They're gonna be brilliant.
Oh yeah, I mean you're back for starters, so you know.
It's all right.
I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe I'm here now talking about how badly I've done.
I know. If ever there was a time for you to pull a sickie like he did, it was definitely this week.
Definitely this week.
You've done well. You see, at least you're a bit braver than him. At least you've had the cojones to come in and join us.
I've still been doing all right. I think my team did all right the week before I was ill. Probably didn't, it's probably a lie. But
Definitely a lie.
Let's look at some of your selections for this weekend. The first one, obviously, these guys are playing tonight, Manchester City. You're going to go through some John Stones replacements. And I've had Stones in since the start of the season in my fantasy football team, and he's just not delivered for me yet. Here we go, let's have a look. So, I mean, I just thought Guardiola... He's going to get, he's going to get passes. He's going to be everything. He's going to be perfect for fantasy football, John Stones, and they haven't been keeping clean sheets.
No, that's the problem. I mean, especially when you're playing FPL, you need, assists and bonus points and goals, which is what you've got with these guys up here.
Yeah, let's go through the selections. I mean, Charlie Daniels, I always give him a wide berth because he plays for Bournemouth, and I think they're going to concede some goals. But he bangs them in, doesn't he? And every week he turns up and performs for Bournemouth.
He is. There's a great stat which I've been banging on about all week, I think.
Yeah, go on, get it out. Go on.
Get out your system.
He's the most prolific defender.
Is he?
Since the start of last season.
Really?
I think he's set up 6 and scored 4, which is more than any other Premier League defender, which isn't bad when, last season was his first season in the Premier League, and they've continued it this year. And I really didn't. He's a great player, but I really didn't see him staying in the team when they came up, and he has done, and he's done really well.
Proper cultured finish at the weekend as well. I mean, really, really decent finish. Yeah, brilliant finish as well. These two as well, Koscielny and Bellerin. Oh, I nearly broke the TV. That would have been so funny. Can you imagine if it had just smacked? That would have been great. Koscielny, not for the guys that pay for it. Koscielny and Bellerin. Arsenal just keeping clean sheets left, right, centre at the moment.
I think with Arsenal this year, he spent a lot of money on that Mustafi.
Mm.
So I mean, he's come in, he's partnered
really, really well. And it's given the likes of Bellerin and Monreal a lot more licence to go forward. I mean, Bellerin's racking up the points this season already. And then just defensively, they look a lot more solid. They're a little bit expensive in price, but I think if you can try and crowbar a couple of Arsenal players into your defence, given their run of fixtures coming up as well, definitely worth having a little look.
See, I feel guilty because last year I won my mates league and I had Monreal all season and he was brilliant for me. I didn't put him in this year, and then he's proven me wrong. You've got to stay loyal in fantasy football, and you to the guys that get you some points. Yeah. Sorry, Nacho. Kyle Walker as well. Pochettino, Spurs again. Just don't concede any goals, do they?
I know, it's strange. It's hard for me to watch Pochettino still doing that. I've got over it a little bit. I don't hate him as much anymore. But no, I think Walker, like with Bellerin and Monreal, the way Pochettino sets his teams up, he gets a lot of, same as Danny Rose, gets a lot of freedom going forward. He's got the confidence with Vertonghen and Alderweireld in the middle and Lloris in goal. He's got the confidence to just move up and know that everything's going to be all right with maybe Dyer or Wanyama keeping it a bit more secure at the back. And he's going to pick up bonus points. He's going to pick up assists. He'll probably get himself a couple of goals this season.
I think Tottenham have got the best defensive record in the Premier League.
And I think they did last season as well.
They've only conceded like 4 or 5 goals this season.
The thing with Tottenham as well is that you'll know from the Pochettino days that it's all about the sum of all their parts. They defend as a team, but in fantasy football, it's the defenders that end up ultimately picking up those points. But they've got such a solid base. Dyer and Wanyama, I mean, that's a real solid base in front of them. So as a result, the defenders are going to pick up points. This man at the end, well, with Jose Mourinho playing anti-football, they're probably going to keep
clean sheets
as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, you must have been frustrated watching it on Monday.
Don't. It's
Everyone was, but you know, I was a neutral and I just nearly fell
Monday night.
To be fair, after the first half, I think Liverpool probably did well getting away from a point.
Yeah,
they were rubbish for the first half.
Yeah, we were useless. We were useless in the first half. I completely agree.
Someone like Blind, who's going to play every game under Mourinho. Mourinho clearly likes him because he has played, I think, every game. He's 2 assists in 8, which is pretty good for a defender. And 5.6 million is really, really cheap.
That surprised me, I have to admit.
If you're taking John Stones out, who's only worth 5, if you can try and jig your team around a bit, make another transfer, makes 0.6, then Blind's a decent shout. And they've got a good run, apart from Chelsea this weekend.
Yeah.
A good run of fixtures coming up.
So and he's the sort of player that, you know, maybe there's an injury in midfield, he'll move into midfield and could get you some more points going there, but he'll still be a defender.
The other thing is, normally we always talk about how important looking the fixtures are, but it's a big game for Manchester United, a big game for Mourinho, which means probably almost more likely to keep a clean sheet. Do you know what I mean? Away at Chelsea, he'll go there.
He'll play 7 at the back.
Mourinho will go to Stamford Bridge, more likely than not, and play 19th century football. Which he accused West Ham of doing when we went to Stamford Bridge about 3 seasons ago. And that's exactly probably what will happen. And they'll probably get a clean sheet and Blin will rack up more points. So.
Yeah, spot on. John Stone's not the only one who's underperforming in Manchester at the moment. This other guy is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's just suddenly gone very, very quiet, hasn't he? I think I saw a stat the other day that he scored 4 of his first something like 8 shots on target, and now he's not scored in his last 20. Is it a blip? But he's not getting any younger, or do you think maybe he's just come to the Premier League a bit too late?
I think it's a blip. I think you can see the positions he gets himself into. The header on Monday was awful.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know whether he thought someone was coming in.
I think he was nodding it back.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It was so bad that it's
50p head it properly.
But it's not him. I think it is just a blip. I mean, the sort of touch of class he showed with his early form was brilliant, and he just sort of proved like, I can still do it. But it's a blip, and he's expensive, so he's one you might want to consider. It's an expensive blip to.
You can't afford to carry a player that costs that much. Do you think also the fact that Mourinho's slowly instilling his style of play is maybe going to impact on his number of goals at the end of the season as well? Do you think the more Man U turn into a Mourinho side, the less he's going to back?
I'm not sure. I think at the moment, because they're so defensive at the moment because of the run they've been on, I think if they pick up a few more points, you know, they get a bit more confidence, then the goals will start. He never likes to win 4-0, Mourinho. He just doesn't. But, you know, if he's winning 1-2 every week and Ibrahimovic is getting 1 or 2 a week, then he's a consistent point scorer.
I can obviously see the reasoning behind all 3 of these selections. Instead of Ibrahimovic, obviously, they are cheaper. How long do you leave it? How long do you trust Ibrahimovic to come good when he's that expensive?
Well, I took him out last week and put Benteke in, so...
I
don't know whether I'm qualified to comment on this one, but... I mean, I did mention it last week that, you know, he's probably... He hadn't scored in 3 games by then. You know, he had one assist in those 3 games. So I did say that it's probably time to think about it at least. You know, I think he's 11.8 million or something on the game. So it's a lot of money to reinvest elsewhere in your team if you can get him out. and the likes, if you could bring in one of these players in and then perhaps reinvest the extra into your midfield, I can't see him. Everyone was going, he's going to score 20 goals a season. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get 20 goals this year.
Think he's going to get them? No.
He's probably got maybe 6 or 7 left in him, but I don't think. You think it's just a blip? I think he's going to peter out.
Really?
Rashford's your man up front.
You reckon?
If you're going through Man United striker, he's your guy.
Really? Yeah. No, it'd be interesting to see what does come with Zlatan this season. I understand these two. Obviously, Charlie Austin is cheap as well, because I don't think many people thought he was going to be first choice for Southampton this year. But
he wasn't when we started, and then he got the brace in the game against Sparta and
hasn't looked back since.
Hasn't looked back. No, he's been in the team. Puel said after the game on Sunday that he's not going to start every game because he can't, because he's not that sort of player. But I think Premier League he'll be most weeks. It's more the League Cup and the European games that I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the bench tomorrow night against Inter, which would be a shame. But
as long as it's fantasy football, as long as he's playing Premier League, who cares?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jermaine Defoe, I mean, we don't need to talk about Jermaine Defoe. We can wax lyrical about him all day. He just scores goals. You could put him in any team in the world. You could even put him in Clapton FC and he'd score goals, wouldn't he?
Well, he's the 3rd highest scoring striker in the game at the moment, which will surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he loves a goal against West Ham, and given West Ham's form
most people do.
at home, I wouldn't be surprised if he scored this weekend. Worth considering.
Yeah, Defoe, he could score every weekend. You can never rule him out, can you? He only needs half a chance. I've only got about a minute left, but the guy at the end here, Jamie Vardy as well, that's expensive for a guy. He doesn't look a great nick to me. Certainly not on the Premier League anyway.
He's due a goal though, isn't he?
He is
due a goal, and against a really weak team like Crystal Palace.
Oh, controversial. They're not happy. They're not happy. The Palace fans coming on later aren't happy.
He's due a goal. I think Ranieri's finally come out and said, I'm not happy about the... He said he's angry about the performances, which could light a bit of a fire under them and get him going. So, it's a gamble worth taking, and they've got a really nice run. So he should pick up some points. Yeah,
certainly if Jamie Vardy does rediscover, a quarter of that form from last season, then he's definitely worth getting in. And, I think that's the thing today. I think that Ranieri quote, I'm hoping, stokes a bit of a fire underneath the Leicester players, and it does get them out firing. Point-scoring midfielders. Now, this is an interesting one. We've got the graphic here as well, I think. That they're midfielders who kind of at the start of the season were priced and chosen as midfielders, but they've actually all ended up moving up front. So let's have a look at them. Firmino, Sanchez and Son, all having wonderful seasons, really, aren't they, so far?
Yeah, well, I think it kind of links into our previous one about Zlatan. If you're going to get rid of him, you've got a little bit of money to spend. And there's not a lot of value in strikers in the game at the moment, apart from maybe Costa and Lukaku, who are scoring every week. It's not a great deal of value. So it's worth looking into your midfield, and these 3 midfielders, for instance, are playing as strikers for their team at the moment. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, because they're getting more points being midfielders. They're cheaper than strikers, but you get the best of both worlds. So this is a sort of, if you're making money from selling Zlatan, one of these 3 guys that you should be sort of reinvesting elsewhere.
I mean, since he's arrived in England, Firmino's numbers, and when I say numbers, I mean the crucial ones, the fantasy football goals and assists, have just been superb, haven't they? He just looks like he's going to get you points every week most of the time, doesn't he? Sanchez as well. I think now that he's moved up front and Iwobi's playing on the left, and it's kind of freed him up to not play on the left.
He's not going to leave, is he?
No, he's not going to leave. He's also, how many goals is he going to score? I mean, now that he's a striker, he scored around 20 league goals a season before he was playing up front. What do you think he's capable of this season?
It's going to be, I think it's a massive season for him. If he can stay fit, he's not going to get dropped from that number 9 role. We were chatting before, weren't we, about how much they've spent on Perez, and they're just not starting him. But to be fair, you can't drop Sanchez at the moment. He's on fire. And
already scored tonight as well.
Exactly. So he's going to keep it going.
No, he's a world-class player, isn't he? The final one, Son as well, who's been in brilliant form. Bit iffy last night, but brilliant form in the Premier League. Look at those numbers: 4 goals, 2 assists. That's all happened in the last 5 games or so. Do you think he keeps his place in the team when Harry Kane comes back? That's the key question.
That's the massive question. I think Vincent Janssen hasn't really done it. He was the guy that was going to deputise Kane should Kane get injured or come off the bench and do the thing. But it's turned out to be Son. So I think when Kane does come back, I think Pochettino is the type of guy that will try and force a way of getting Son into the midfield and give him that attacking role to try and keep that form on, because he is a very, very important player for Spurs. And I think Pochettino's not the type of guy that will go, yeah, okay, thanks very much, main man's back, you're back on the bench. I think Vincent Janssen will be the guy that sort of falls out, and Son will keep his place.
I think Pochettino's a sort of manager that Kane's never had this sort of injury layoff before, so he's going to be very careful when he comes back. He's not going to be playing. He's not going to come straight back in and just do 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes.
Because I mean, Harry Kane's played
he was
a hell of a lot of football
yeah.
for the last couple of years.
He was before, but he's never had the injury to sort of have in the back of the mind, in the back of the manager's mind. So I think Son's going to get that. If he doesn't start, he'll be on 60, 65, 70 minutes, and he'll get you points.
Yeah, the pricing as well, 7.7 million. I mean, that's the pricing of a guy that people weren't expecting to play this season.
No.
A lot of talk that he was going to leave in the summer as well. So frees up a lot of funds for elsewhere as well, doesn't he? I think he's definitely worth getting in. I always say this, and then I always bottle it when it comes to putting him in, because I always have in the back of my mind, Kane will come back and he'll stop scoring goals or whatever. Obviously, the other thing that Football Fancast runs is the Fan Duel, which is, we always talk about, very more specific about points that you can earn. So it's tackling, clean sheets, passing, interceptions, everything is much more detailed than your average fantasy football. I think we've got the Ultimate 11 from the weekend just gone. It's always good, this as well, because although it is a different scoring system, it's normally a very fair reflection of they would have got you fantasy football points as well. You never see a guy who's brilliant in this, and yeah, maybe, you know, more points or whatever. But let's go through the team. Charlie Austin is obviously a guy that you touted as a possible replacement for Ibrahimovic if he doesn't stop scoring goals. Is it just keeping him fit? I mean, he scored 18 goals in a QPR side that got relegated. He scores goals, doesn't he?
I mean, you put him in a world-class team like Southampton, what's he going to do? No, it's just keeping him fit. Like Puel said on Sunday, he's not going to play every game. He can't play every game. He's not an endurance player. So as long as Puel manages him well, which he's doing so far, you know, bought him off when he was on a hat-trick, which is quite a brave move, really. Even though you are the manager and it's your decision, your striker's on a hat-trick, you're going to want him to get one. But no, pulled him off when, you know, we were playing against a Burnley side that looked like he could have got a hat-trick. So he's being managed well. As long as he stays fit, he'll keep scoring.
There's one man that jumps out at me at the moment, and it's this man here, Joe Allen. What's happened to Joe Allen?
It's like a man possessed.
Isn't he?
I want what he's having.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I know that Mark Hughes is playing him a little bit more in a more sort of advanced role than he was playing at Liverpool, which is probably giving him a lot more free rein to just be himself. And I know him and Arnautovic, for instance, are working really well together. But I don't know, for club and country, it's what, 5 and 6? For
5 and 6. Is it such an anomaly, such a freakish amount of goals that it's not sustainable? Would that put you off putting him in your team?
I don't know, because at Liverpool, when he came on, even you might have done it as a Liverpool fan, just go, Joe Allen, really? Why is he, what? You know, whereas he's gone into a Stoke team now where he's a focal point. You know, coming on at Liverpool, it was just like, oh, it's Joe Allen. You know, he'll be a bit of a passenger. Then maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But now he's a focal point of the team where he's getting the ball a lot. He's passing it. He's making interceptions when he drops a bit further back, and he is getting in and around the box. So I think it's something that, as long as Stoke, they seem to have sorted out a few problems. If they stay on a similar sort of run and have a normal Mark Hughes Stoke season, he'll pick up points most weeks.
Yeah, spot on. At what point as well is Xavi going to become known as the Spanish Joe Allen? That's what I want to know.
Very soon.
Very soon. It's only a matter of time, I think.